everybody, and thank you for tuning in to Nizzy Sports Chat. I am your host, Nizzy, and in this video, you guys are going to be breaking down another unfortunate loss from the Toronto Raptors last night in their game versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Another home loss for the Toronto Raptors this season, you guys. It's been a rough go on our home court, obviously being back on home court for the first time in a year and a half. Hasn't gone as we planned, you guys. Been having a lot better luck on the road as of late. Just haven't been able to put together a good offensive effort at home, obviously with last night's game being an absolute dud versus the Grizzlies, you guys. Real tough matchup there. Definitely should have won that game in my opinion, obviously with John Morant being down with the knee sprain. Obviously we're missing some key players in OG Anunoby, Kem Birch, as well as Gary Trent Jr. were all out of this game. But still no excuses when you're on your home court. You're playing a team that you had already beaten when they had Ja in the lineup on their home court. You were able to come back from like 15 down or 12 down at the half, and take that game pretty handedly, and then you just lay an absolute dud on your home court, to improve to 9-13 on the season. It's been a rough stretch of basketball for the Toronto Raptors, you guys. I'm sure all you Raptors fans out there know right now there's, the future of the Toronto Raptors is kind of up in the air. We're not sure. We thought Pascal Siakam was going to be the guy for us. And we thought he had a nice supporting cast of talent around him, which I still think we do, but unfortunately I just don't think Pascal's going to end up being the bona fide superstar that we need to be able to go win another championship. We're 3 wins and 8 losses since Pascal has been brought back into the lineup. Just absolutely atrocious. 3 wins and 8 losses is not something to be proud of by any means. Lots of these games we're losing are not very close games at all either. Our defensive intensity has gone down a lot since Pascal's been back. He's been terrible in the center position, to be honest with you guys. I'm quite shocked that they've been rolling him out there in certain lineups when we have Gary Trent Jr. And OG back, and he's been rolling that center position. He does not look comfortable playing that center position. Precious Achiuwa has been a little bit better at that center slot, but he's still not as good as Kem Birch. I swear Precious Achiuwa's got some fucking stone hands, you guys, because he cannot hit a fucking layup or nothing for his life sometimes. He had that one stretch in the second half of the game there. I want to say it was against the Grizzlies when he had those 17 points in the third quarter. Just went off all of a sudden. But other than that, man, the dude's just been shooting atrocious. 1 of 8 from the field again last night. Most of his shots are coming from in close, little layups around the rack as well, and just not being able to finish those right now. Just been a rough go all around for this team. Way too many jump shots I'm finding right now. We're not having a post presence whatsoever. We're not trying to get the ball into the paint at all. We're just settling for 3-point shots and long mid-range jumpers or fadeaway jumpers. It just hasn't been pretty basketball at all from a Raptors standpoint. You haven't seen a lot of good ball movement on offense. We only had, 9 assists last game. That's absolutely atrocious. You can't even get into double-digit assists in a full game. 9 assists is really, really bad. You should have, Fred VanVleet's had games where he's averaged more than fucking 9 assists. You got your whole team getting 9 assists. We got out-rebounded as well by the Grizzlies, 52 boards to 42, so they out-rebounded us by 10 on our home court. That's nothing to be proud of either. We actually did a pretty decent job holding them on their shooting percentage from the field. The Grizzlies shot 38% from the field, 34 of 89 field goals. They shot 28% from three-point range. They only made 9 out of their 32 attempts from three-point range, and 86% from the free throw line, making 13 of 15. You think seeing numbers like that, there's no fucking way the Raptors should have lost that game. If you just look at the box score, you're looking like, how did we lose this fucking game? If you look at the team stats, we held them under 40% from the field, under 30% from 3. Held them to only 15 free throws. And then you go ahead and look at the Raptors stats and you're like, what the fuck was this, you guys? 37% field goal percentage, 16% from the 3-point land, and only had 12 free throws on the night, 75% free throw shooting. You're obviously not going to get a lot of free throws when you don't fucking push the ball in the paint and take the ball to the rack that often. Obviously, there's missed foul calls all the time. But when you're relying on most of your shot attempts coming from mid-range or a 3-point jump shot, you're not going to get a lot of foul calls drawn from the referees. So you got to just drive that ball into the paint, and they're going to eventually call some of them when you're playing aggressive to the basket. The fact that we're just settling for all these jump shots just baffles me. Absolutely baffles me, you guys. The fact we shot 5 of 31 from 3-point range. That's absolutely atrocious. I don't know why we don't recognize more when we're shooting just abysmal from three-point range, that we don't try and drive the ball into the paint more. I mean, I could just see times throughout that game where it's like, okay, we got to get this ball into the paint. We got to get some paint touches, try and get some easy lay-ins, some drives where you can kick it out to the corner for an open look or something like that. And we're just settling for jump shots in that game. I mean, you could see how big of an asset guys like OG, Kem Birch, and Gary Trent Jr. are. Obviously, having all three of those guys out. It's just clear to me, you guys, that Pascal Siakam is not the guy. He's not going to be the guy. I don't think he ever will be the guy. I think he's a great number 2 option, right? He was phenomenal as a number 2 option when Kawhi Leonard was with us and we made that run to the championship, ended up winning the championship that year. Pascal was great, but he had all the pressure lifted off of his shoulders. The defenders were not, heavily focused on him. He didn't have the pressure and the weight of the world to have to make every shot and hit those clutch buckets down the stretch. That was all on Kawhi's shoulders. And you're seeing some of that now with Pascal, and I just don't see that drive, man, or that determination. Like, I'm gonna just fucking whip your ass. I don't care what it takes. It just seems a little bit of a complacency right now. Like, oh, this is all I can give. This is all I got. Obviously, he's still coming off of the shoulder surgery. It's only been 11 games now. But at the end of the day, the guy's got to be better. When you're a max contract player like that, you're getting paid over $30 million a year. You're supposed to be the go-to guy on the squad. And we can't count on the guy in big moments, man. I mean, we're 3-8. We're 3-8 with our top guy out on the floor. Just atrocious. I mean, it's been a rough stretch. We have not been winning games right now. Our defense has been lacking. I just haven't really liked what I've seen from the squad lately, you guys. It's just been a lot of standing around and watching one guy dribble on the offensive end. There hasn't been a lot of ball movement, as you can tell, from only having 9 assists in the game. The rebounding's been lacking. I mean, we got to learn how to box the fuck out, man. I mean, we can't box out. We're shit right now. I mean, we get all caught standing, looking up at the fucking ball from underneath the rim, and we forget we got to actually box these guys out, or they're just going to go up over the top and grab that fucking ball. It's just getting frustrating, you guys, especially because it's effort shit. It's the nitty gritty little things that are causing us to lose games right now, which normally Toronto Raptors do a phenomenal job at sealing the deal on the small nitty gritty stuff. And maybe we miss some shots, don't get a lot of scoring opportunities or something like that, but we've always been able to hang our hat on a solid defense, and even the defense has been lacking lately. Obviously, last night's game was good defensively, but we couldn't put the fucking ball in the hoop. But as of late, since Pascal's been back, you guys, the defense has not been that good. We've been allowing over 100, 110 points per game since Pascal's been back in the fold. Lost to some bad teams, had some really bad losses. We got to get this ship turned around here. 9-13 record. Definitely need to make some improvements going forward here. Scotty Barnes is playing well. Really happy with him as our rookie. Ended up finishing the night with 19 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, as well as 4 blocks. 8 of 16 from the field as well. So the dude's shooting at an efficient clip. The only thing I haven't really liked about Scotty Barnes so far this season is when he keeps getting those steals and goes for the breakaway dunks, and he's kind of looking over his shoulder, looking back at the guy. He did one on Steven Adams yesterday in yesterday's game there, and he ended up almost flubbing the dribble. He had to kind of regather the ball in his hand and go in for the lay-in instead of dunking it. That would have never been an issue if he would have even not looked behind him. Just go fucking dunk the ball and get back on D, man. I mean, you don't need to have that kind of cocky arrogance. I don't really like that style of play, like you're looking over your shoulder, kind of giving it to the guy that you just picked the ball off from. And he did it again on another play, actually, in the same game, and Karma came back and bit Scotty Barnes right in the ass because he got blocked. He basically, instead of was looking for where he was going to dunk the ball, he's looking at his defender coming around, and then he doesn't even hit the dunk and gets a blocked shot on him. So it's a little bit of karma coming back on him for that one. I would like to see him cut that shit out personally. I just don't see the need for it. Just hammer down a fucking big-ass dunk, man. Like that one on Steven Adams, that steal. I mean, he could have just came down and torched that thing through the fucking basket. And instead, the guy's looking over his shoulder trying to be funny and play these little games and shit like that. That's pretty much my only gripe on Scotty Barnes, you guys. I mean, other than that, the dude's been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, Rookie of the Year. I think he's going to win Rookie of the Year if the Raptors can turn their record around a little bit here, because the record's not very good at the moment, obviously being 4 games below 500. But if we can get some wins strung together here, get some things turned around, I have no doubt that Scotty Barnes could be the Rookie of the Year, hands down, you guys. I mean, he's still playing outstanding. Svi Mikhailiuk had a rough game for us, only 7 points and 1 rebound, shooting 3 of 8 from the field. Wasn't too much involved in the offense. He's been a little bit quiet lately. You want to see his shooting production get up a little bit more, make a few more of those shots. He's getting a lot of open looks right now, just not going down for him. We need a little more from him right now. Freddie had a bit of a quiet game as well, only 15 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. and 1 steal, shooting 6 of 13 from the field. Still steady as always, as is Steady Freddy. Huge game from him, getting the 9 rebounds for us. I believe he led our team in rebounds, which, I mean, good for Freddy, but that's a terrible stat to have, your fucking point guard leading the team in rebounds, especially that he's a 6-foot guard. It's not like he's a 6'9" guard like Doncic or Banton or something like that. I mean, the dude's 6 foot and he's leading your team with 9 boards. And that just goes to show how much better of a job we need to do at boxing out you guys. I mean, that's going to be the key to getting the fucking rebounds, right? You get out-rebounded by 10. We got out-rebounded 18-11 on the offensive glass as well. Also had 16 turnovers in the game. Definitely got to improve those numbers as well. You don't want to be turning the ball over 10 plus times in a game. If you can keep those numbers around 10 or less, that's usually a recipe for a win. But at the end of the day, just got to play better basketball all around right now. It's kind of been a weird stretch here. Really got to see more from Pascal, man. That's really what it comes down to, in my opinion. This guy's on a max contract, getting $30+ million a season. Barely averaging 20 points a game right now. I don't even think he's averaging 20 points a game on the season. I mean, last night he had a 20-point performance with 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, and 3 blocks. So the numbers don't look terrible, but it's just not as consistent as what we need to see from the guy. He needs to be doing a better job on the defensive end of being able to get those defensive rebounds, especially that we're playing a bit of a small ball lineup. We don't have a true center that can just, be an absolute hog on the glass and just take down all the boards that he can, like an Andre Drummond or a Jonas Valanciunas or something like that. So we need, team effort to be able to get those rebounds. You need everyone boxing out. You need your bigs down low boxing out, and then maybe the smaller guys can grab the boards. But you can't just have a bunch of guys standing there watching the ball in the air. That's not going to work. It hasn't been working. I mean, I just don't understand how the boys haven't realized at this point you got to fucking box out. Hopefully they get that sorted out. Need a little more production from the bench as well. Like, haven't gotten a lot of production from the bench right now. They've been getting Malachi Flynn a lot of run time out on the floor with Fred VanVleet. I'm not too sure how much I like that lineup, having the 2 small guards on the court. Now, Malachi Flynn's been solid defensively for us so far this season. Had another two steals in the game last night. But his shooting stroke has not been there so far, especially his shooting from 3 has been just terrible. He's been taking some bad 3 balls so far this season. He shot 2 of 8 from the field last night, only 5 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist with 2 steals. I think he ended up playing around like 19 minutes, so not ideal numbers for the amount of minutes played. He's pretty much taken over Banton's minutes right now, which I really don't like to see. I'd rather see a 6'9" guard out there who can defend a little bit better, close out on those 3-point shots, and I think Delano Banton's got a better capability of finishing at the rim. He's got some nice hands around the rack there. He's really good at going up and getting the offensive boards as well for the putbacks. So I'd like to see Delano Banton get into the mix a little bit more. I'm not too sure what's happened here with that rotation, and things have changed up a little bit. We got some injuries in the fold right now, obviously, with our three main guys out, and Gary Trent Jr., OG, and Kem Birch. And we're still running a short-handed bench, which I don't understand. Like, Nick Nurse is just playing these guys into the fucking ground, giving them 39, 40 minutes a night, and running like a tight 7-8-man bench unit when we're not really getting great production out of our starters. So I'm just not really sure what's going on. Once again, it's that Nick Nurse stubborn coaching qualities. I mean, same with Boucher. Boucher hardly got any run time yesterday. I thought he should have been playing a lot more, especially when Achua was in foul trouble, and instead of taking him off for a break, we elect to just keep him on the floor. He ends up fouling out anyways. Just some weird decisions all around from all the way up from the coaching staff down to some of the players right now, you guys. I mean, we're doing a bit of soul searching as a squad right now. The Toronto Raptors got to get things back on track and get it rolling. Things definitely do not get any easier with a matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks tomorrow night. That's going to be a tough game, obviously. Like I said, anytime you're playing a team now that has a dominant center, or someone who's, technically Giannis is more of a power forward, small forward guy, but he's been playing the center role a lot. He's 6'10", and he's just an absolute beast on the boards, He uses his size to his advantage. Anytime we play a team that's got a true dominant center like that, it seems like we really have a tough time bringing down the rebounds and defending in the paint and being able to score in the paint. So, I mean, we're going to have to do something here, hopefully before the trade deadline, and try and pick up a centerpiece for our team here. We're going to have to see what happens. I mean, if we keep going down a bad stretch of basketball here, anything's on the table. Anyone can be traded. So we'll have to see what happens. I hope the boys can turn the ship around and get back into their winning ways. But it ain't looking too good at this point right now, you guys. We'd love to get your guys' opinion in the comment section down below. How do you think the Raptors are faring so far this season? What are some of you guys' takeaways from last night's game versus the Grizzlies? I thought it was an absolute shit show. I mean, just a terrible offensive performance from the Toronto Raptors squad. Definitely got to do a lot better job of hitting shots. And getting inside the paint. We had not a lot of paint points as well. Just got to do a lot better job overall. Forcing our presence inside the paint, playing a little more hard-nosed, aggressive basketball, and not settling for all those jump shots, in my opinion. So that's about all I got for this video, guys. A little bit of a rant today on the Toronto Raptors situation right now. Not playing too good of basketball. Tough loss to the Grizz last night. Once again, appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video and every video on my channel, man. Please go ahead and like this video if you like sporting content like this. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more sporting content like this in the near future. Thank you guys for watching, man, and this is Nizzy with the Sports Chat.